Sometimes we think the hardest part is finally walking away. The arguments, the lies, the emotional exhaustion, the sleepless nights, the constant wondering if today would finally be different. Ava thought that too. She believed if she could just gather enough courage to leave, everything would begin getting better. She couldn't have been more wrong. Leaving was only the first step. Now she had to figure out who she was without him. For decades, her emotional world had quietly revolved around someone else's approval. His moods determined her peace. His attention determined her worth. His silence became her anxiety. His affection became her reward. Little by little, she stopped asking, "What do I need?" and started asking, "What does he need?" She didn't even notice it happening until one day she looked in the mirror and realized she couldn't remember the last time she had chosen herself. People thought once she left, she should feel free. Instead, she felt tired, not ordinary tired, a deep exhaustion, the kind that settles into your bones after years of carrying emotional weight nobody else could see. She wasn't just recovering from a relationship, she was recovering from years of surviving. The hardest battles weren't happening in front of people, they happened inside her own mind. She questioned herself. She replayed conversations. She wondered if she had overreacted. Then she remembered the tears, the loneliness, the confusion, the endless cycle that always brought her back to the same place. Some days, she almost missed him. Not because she believed the relationship was healthy, but because familiarity has a strange way of feeling safe, even when it hurts us. There were moments when she almost reached for the phone, almost answered the text, almost went back. Not because she stopped believing she deserved better, but because healing often asks us to let go of what became familiar. Every time she looked back, something inside her whispered, "Keep walking." The people around her meant well. They would say things like, "You'll find somebody else. Just move on. You're too pretty to be crying over him." She smiled politely, but inside, she thought, "You don't understand." Because unless you've lived inside emotional confusion for years, it's difficult to explain what happens afterward. How do you explain grieving someone while also grieving yourself? How do you explain missing a life you never want to return to? Some battles are simply too complicated for casual conversations. So Ava became quiet, not because she wanted to isolate herself, because she didn't have words big enough to explain what had happened. There was one person who didn't need many explanations. Her mother. She hadn't lived Ava's exact story, but she recognized the heaviness. She noticed the exhaustion in her daughter's eyes. She noticed the smile that didn't quite reach her face. She couldn't carry the burden for Ava, but she could pray, and she did, faithfully. Sometimes when Ava felt too tired to pray, her mother prayed. Sometimes when Ava couldn't see tomorrow, her mother reminded God of his promises over her daughter. Ava would later realize those prayers carried her through days she never thought she'd survive. Life didn't stop. Bills still had to be paid. Responsibilities didn't disappear. She had to rebuild. She decided to go back to school, not because she felt confident, because she needed another chance. She searched for work, filled out applications, faced rejection, kept going. Every interview, every assignment, every small accomplishment became another brick in rebuilding a life she almost forgot belonged to her. There were days she cried before work, then wiped her face, walked inside, smiled, did her job, came home, and cried again. People called her strong. She didn't always feel strong. She just kept showing up. Sometimes that's what strength looks like. Her former boyfriend occasionally resurfaced. messages, questions, moments that seemed designed to pull her back into the old orbit. Ava refused to let her healing become another argument. She stopped trying to prove anything. She simply kept building. As her life slowly began moving forward, it became clear she was no longer revolving around him, and that change seemed to unsettle him. For the first time, she wasn't chasing. She wasn't explaining. She wasn't begging to be understood. She was quietly becoming someone new. Then something unexpected happened. The more she rebuilt, the more she found herself opening God's word, at first for comfort. Then she searched for identity. She stopped asking, God, why did this happen? And slowly began asking, Lord, who do you say I am now? That question changed everything, because healing wasn't just about forgetting the past. It was about discovering the woman God had been shaping all along. Rebuilding didn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happened one small decision at a time. One class, one application, one prayer, one boundary, one peaceful night. One morning she got out of bed when she didn't feel like it. One more step, then another, then another. She wasn't finished healing, not even close. But she was no longer standing still. She was moving, slowly, faithfully, forward.